What does a mental health expert do when life gets hard? Life is not always smooth sailing, is it? Recently in my life, there's been a series of stressful incidents, big ones. First, we had a house fire, then me and my family were in a car accident, and then my computer crashed. So suddenly I'm wondering what on earth is going on here, right? There were moments when I could feel the overwhelm. But I have tools, right? So what did I do? I think some people believe or assume that my life is easy because I seem joyful and peaceful. And in a lot of ways, my life is. But that's by design. That's not by chance. It's not an accident. I've made a lot of decisions along the way to live a simple and joyful life. My husband, my two sons, and I, we take time to set intentions, create goals, remove drama or unnecessary stress and pain. Our family mission is we love each other, we support each other, we make each other better. And so, yes, life is pretty smooth and simple in a lot of ways and most of the time. However, that does not exclude us from unexpected negative life events, and it doesn't mean that we never experience stress. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about this work is that I know firsthand that it's possible to build a life that you are in love with, and I know that a big part of what's required in order to do that is to master your emotional state, to know exactly what to do with the day-to-day feelings, good, bad, indifferent, whatever comes your way. How do you manage your emotions through these events, through changes, through, pushing yourself to a new level? I will continue to learn and grow in this way. And each time I do grow, I get to these new levels that, um, and I see more potential, what else I could unlock, what else I could, shift just a little bit to be a little more free, a little more at peace. And so to me, that's really exciting. That's part of the work, just continuing to peel back the layers, continue to heal, continue to grow, and continue to build a life of intention and joy and peace and fulfillment. And this is really why my life feels that way most of the time, because we've made that intention. We've taken the action to actually make that happen. So, back to all of these stressful events, after, kind of in the middle of it, right? The first sign that I noticed that told me really needed to do a little more work. I was going to have to put some extra effort into soothing my nervous system. The first sign was that I started waking up between 2 and 3 a.m. And here's what we know from sleep and stress research. Part of our normal sleep and wake cycles, our brain produces cortisol between 2 and 3 a.m. in order to prep you for waking up in a few hours. But if your cortisol is already high, that spike will wake you up between 2 and 3 instead of later at the 6, 7, 6 or 7 mark. And the reason it's sort of, you can think of it like a glass of water. If it's already full and you continue to pour into it, it's going to spill over. And that's kind of how cortisol works for you in the mornings. Your brain produces a little bit and it sort of fills up until your body shifts into that state of waking up. But if you've already got a full glass of cortisol, if you've already been dealing with stress, that extra boost is going to pop you open, wake you up, right? Pop open your eyes sooner. Now, if you're not getting enough quality sleep, it's harder to manage your stress and cortisol. So I knew right away that I needed to take action. Sleep is just such a crucial part of, managing stress, managing emotions, and just in general being able to cope with your day, cope with any problems or stress, but also to like just enjoy your day, right? So here's the part where maybe you really want to know, like, what did you do about it? Like, if you notice these problems and this is your field of expertise, what did you do about it? So the first thing that I did, I started with Stress Gummies by Olly. They have L-theanine, they have GABA, and lemon balm, and these three are natural supplements that work together to reduce stress, reduce your cortisol. And individually, they all have their special gifts. L-theanine works to reduce your cortisol and can improve your sleep quality, which was key here, right? Um, GABA is a neurotransmitter that reduces brain stimulation, which is, when you have a lot of stress and a lot of things coming your way, your brain can feel that overstimulation. So this is going to help reduce that stimulation, which helps you balance your emotions, helps it feel less overwhelming. And it's also linked to better mood stability and helps regulate cortisol. Lemon balm is sometimes called nature's Valium. You can grow it in your garden, make a tea with it. It's been used for centuries to reduce stress, ease anxiety, promote relaxation. And one of the ways it works is actually by enhancing GABA and its function. So you put all of these together and you're going to get a powerful natural supplement that's going to help, alleviate that stress and reduce your cortisol. Now, that supplement was really just the first step. It's not the only thing I did. I don't believe in magic pills. I don't believe that taking this kind of supplement is going to cure my stress. It just plays a supporting role and helps, get me into a state where I can access my tools better, right? It's going to help support the other work that I do. Many of you have heard me talk about cold showers in the morning. It's an invigorating way to start the day, right? I love waking up, going outside in the sunlight, taking a cold shower in my outdoor shower. It's such a joyful way to wake up. However, during that time period, the cold shower it just didn't feel great. It does spike your your sympathetic nervous system. So if you're already kind of on edge, that may make you feel worse. Now, the research will show that cold exposure, it actually over time is going to train your body to recover from stress a lot faster. And I think that is true. And I think having those cold showers leading up to these events was very, very helpful. It also increases your endorphins and norepinephrine, which elevate your mood, reduce anxiety, and enhance your focus. But for whatever reason, for me personally during this time, it just didn't feel good. It was too much. There was already too much going on in my nervous system, I suppose. And so that extra spike in the morning just felt worse. And so I shifted. Um, you know, I do think leading up to it, it did help me bounce back more quickly. But in the moment, the hot showers were just way more soothing when I felt those higher cortisol levels. And so, you know, it's important, even though research would show that the cold shower, in theory, should have also helped. This is where, like, you have to know yourself, right? Recognizing my own responses, recognizing, how my body was responding, just made it really clear what the best choice for me was specifically in this moment. And so, I trust that because I've worked so hard to have that awareness. I have a strong awareness of what's going on internally, in my mind and in my body, and how all of that fits together with what's going on outside in the world. And so that awareness allowed me to choose something that was different than what the research would have supported, because I trust myself. I trust what I know about myself really, really strong and deeply. So that's another benefit of doing these practices, you know, before things are hard, before you get to these stressful events. Finally, of course, I use strategies that I teach and that I work with clients on one-on-one. I used EFT or emotional freedom technique, and I also used EMDR. These are two of the most effective methods for healing from negative life experiences. So, of course, I'm going to pull those tools out of my tool bag. EFT or emotional freedom technique can really quickly soothe your nervous system. So, at any moment, if I was feeling that overwhelm start to creep in, immediately I could do a couple of minutes of EFT and feel calm again and feel ready to focus, ready to get back on with the day. And then EMDR was very, very helpful at night going to sleep to soothe my brain, relax my nervous system, and also any of those, especially after the accident, I was having, you know, terrible dreams at night, or I was having just reliving and replaying and kind of thinking through like how could things be different or whatever. And so using EMDR to soothe that was very effective and worked very quickly. And it was great at night. Sometimes I used it during the day, but especially at night when I was going to sleep, that's when I would use that. And so the last thing I'll share, this was something that I wouldn't have necessarily expected, but I've been keeping a gratitude journal daily for years. I have stacks and stacks of these journals, and it's not something that I have to force myself or remind myself to do anymore. It's become a habit of mind. And when something is a habit of mind, you have built these strong neural pathways. And that's what I've done over the years. I've built these strong neuro pathways to look for things to be grateful for every single day. And the most interesting thing in all of this was the comfort that I found in looking for reasons to be grateful. And there were lots of them. It wasn't hard to do because it has become such a natural part of my daily life. And, just the comfort from that and the ease from, having that already be a habit was just really, really soothing and very, it kept the bits of joy and hope and peace in these situations all throughout. You know, if we wait, if we wait until negative life events to try to build our habits of peace and joy, it feels like an impossibly tall mountain. But if we're practicing daily, if we do it now, if we do it when things are good, when things are okay, when problems are small, it's so much easier to move through negative life events and get back to living a life of peace and joy. You deserve a life of joy and peace and success that you define. Subscribe for more content like this if you found this helpful, and if you're ready to build the life of your dreams. You can schedule a free consultation in the link in the description, and I will be happy to chat with you, learn more about where you are in your life, and see if we can bring you into that place where joy and peace are your natural state, and you wake up grateful every day and you find reasons easily to feel happy.